Is Red Bull facing a potential driver market problem? It certainly appears to be the case, and this could have significant implications for the freshly crowned Constructors champions of Formula 1. The slightly uncertain element in this equation is Sergio Perez, who had a nightmarish Japanese Grand Prix, described as a shocker, even by his team principal Christian Horner. While Perez has a solid contract with Red Bull until the end of 2024, each time he underperforms or makes a mistake, such as those witnessed in Suzuka, will undoubtedly put the agreement to the test, especially considering that Red Bull currently has 5 drivers competing for only 4 available seats across its 2 teams. When Perez initially signed his current contract, he was on the brink of winning the 2022 Monaco Grand Prix, and that would have been the time where his status in Red Bull was at its peak. But since then, there have been allegations from Verstappen's camp suggesting that Perez deliberately crashed during the Monaco qualifying that year, which led to a retaliatory move by Verstappen at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Perez's performance has been declining for 2 consecutive years, even as Red Bull has improved its car's speed. Daniel Ricciardo has been staging a career resurgence, competing for Perez's position. However, Marco's inappropriate comments about Perez's focus have triggered backlash against the team. Perez has expressed his determination to honor his Red Bull contract and intends to discuss an extension in the coming year. Nevertheless, he's also considering the possibility that his F1 career might be drawing to a close, as his goal is to win races and championships, and Red Bull provides the best chance to accomplish this ambition. The challenge lies in Verstappen's dominant presence, making it difficult for Perez to reach an acceptable level of performance as a second driver, and while currently Perez holds the second position in the championship, recent rough weekends in Singapore and Japan have posed challenges. There's speculation that Red Bull might use a performance clause in Perez's contract to demote him to AlphaTauri if he falls too far behind Verstappen. However, there's a counter-argument that Perez's deal with Red Bull Racing is exclusive, making such a demotion unlikely. There's no clear standout replacement available in the short term, making it likely that Red Bull will see how things unfold in 2024. Yuki Tsunoda and Ricciardo have already been confirmed for AlphaTauri in 2024, making it necessary for Red Bull to part ways with Perez, who has 1 year left on his contract, and potentially consider options like Liam Lawson or a driver from outside their current stable. Tsunoda brings substantial financial backing from Honda and is showing improvement in his performance. Ricciardo also makes sense commercially, as he brings experience and a proven track record of Grand Prix wins. However, his time at McLaren was challenging, and his return to top form is yet to be determined. Lawson, standing in for Ricciardo, has made a strong impression. As things stand, Tsunoda and Lawson seem to be the drivers with enhanced reputations, and the question remains whether Ricciardo would be a genuine upgrade or if he still has progress to make in proving himself against Perez in 2025. Lawson scored AlphaTauri's best result in more than a year with a 9th place finish at Marina Bay, having qualified inside the top 10 for the first time in his career and his first visit to the challenging Singapore street circuit. He is one candidate that could replace Perez in Red Bull, considering the fact that he's still young and his skill ceiling is extremely high. The Verstappen factor is also a crucial one. His contract extends to the end of 2028, but he's expressed reservations about the looming 2026 rule changes and the increased demands on travel. If Verstappen were to decide not to complete his contract, it would significantly alter the landscape, with every top driver competing for his seat. In light of these potential shifts, Red Bull must plan for succession beyond just replacing Perez, as Ferrari, Mercedes, and potentially Aston Martin and McLaren will likely become stronger contenders, which would need a stronger supporting driver alongside Verstappen, and this unfortunately goes against Liam, since while he's a great driver, is still unproven in the world of Formula 1. But good news for Lawson is that Christian Horner has all but implied Red Bull won't release the driver long term, as they have plans for him come 2025. I think there's only one seat available in Formula 1 at the moment, and that seems to be the Williams seat, and it'd be unlikely they take a driver for 1 year, the team boss told Sky Sports F1 in Japan. So he's going to focus on that test and reserve role and do as much running as he can in the background in the simulator. And you know, we've seen what he's capable of. So he's done the right thing. He's grabbed that opportunity, and I said to him, "You've done everything and more than you could have." This set of circumstances is not that bad for Lawson, who at worst will have to wait 1 year playing it out as a reserve driver. Honestly, I would be surprised if we see Perez see out the next season in its entirety if he keeps driving like this, and I fully expect a De Vries situation, especially if Red Bull are not as dominant next year. Liam Lawson has made a significant impact in just 4 races, showcasing his adaptability and quick attunement with his new machinery, and this is particularly impressive for a rookie, considering the heightened pressure rookies face nowadays, given the high standards set by recent newcomers like Leclerc, Norris and Piastri. Lawson has risen to the occasion, leaving many impressed with his potential, and his presence in Formula 1 was well deserved from the start, and he continues to prove his worth. Red Bull currently boasts a lineup of highly talented drivers, making it an exciting time for fans of the Red Bull and AlphaTauri family. However, with a standard set so high, there's always a sense of nervousness when a rookie enters Formula 1, especially one with such high expectations. Lawson, though, seems tailor-made for the sport, consistently demonstrating his skill. One standout moment was his daring move in Monza, which showed how comfortable actually he is in the car, and moves like this reflect his confidence, skill and willingness to take risks, traits that fans and enthusiasts appreciate. The situation with Red Bull's drivers presents a good kind of dilemma. Daniel Ricciardo's return to AlphaTauri is eagerly anticipated, as fans are curious to see what he can bring to the team, and the situation remains uncertain, so it will be interesting to see how Red Bull navigates the selection process and decides on the future roles of their talented drivers. The performance is clear, and he has shown in his races as Ricciardo's replacement that he deserves a full-time shot in F1. He might even, in a world in which he stuns as a full-time F1 driver in 2024, have a chance at replacing Perez himself. But there is no commercial or experience benefit. The matter of experience should not be underestimated. When new AlphaTauri CEO Peter Bayer came in earlier this year, one of the first things he stressed was that the team probably needed a blend of youth and experience as part of its new identity, and Red Bull demands that this team becomes more competitive and will have a closer technical alliance with Red Bull Racing than before to achieve that. The drivers are also key, because at the time a tentative but weak argument could be made that Tsunoda and Nick De Vries could come to be that youth and experience blend. The potential combinations for AlphaTauri's driver lineup offer intriguing options. A fourth-year Tsunoda alongside rookie Lawson could be a formidable pair, especially with Tsunoda's emergence as a team leader in 2023. Additionally, Ricciardo and Lawson present another compelling duo, especially considering Tsunoda's likely departure from the Red Bull family when Honda transitions to Aston Martin in 2026. However, when considering experience, skill and financial considerations in the short term, the strongest combination appears to be Ricciardo and Tsunoda. It was always improbable that Ricciardo's return from injury would alter this scenario for the following year, and with Tsunoda maintaining crucial support from Honda, Lawson's future was essentially determined, even though he had been making a more than compelling case for himself. Regrettably, Lawson's role in the Red Bull F1 team will now be limited to that of a reserve driver, and while this is disappointing, it would only be a true injustice if it were to prevent him from securing a spot on the grid altogether. Just a year ago, there wasn't a significant demand for Lawson to secure an F1 seat when the AlphaTauri position ultimately went to De Vries, and now he has substantial momentum behind him. However, timing and circumstances are paramount, and that perfect alignment has just eluded Lawson. The only comprehensive resolution to this 3-into-2 predicament is to create a third option, finding a way to place Lawson at Williams alongside former Red Bull driver Alex Albon, since Logan Sargent's contract runs out at the end of this season, and honestly he has not done enough to warrant a seat on the grid next season. We will see how things unfold for the young Kiwi driver, and maybe we can even see him next to Max Verstappen soon enough. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think Lawson deserves a seat in F1? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.